LLC with Living Well Naturally, LLC, and we're gonna do an abbreviated version of CPR in the park. So basically, I have 3 mannequins. I have an infant, I have a child, and I have an adult. We're going to learn about the different techniques as it comes to CPR when administering that during an emergency. A lot of people go through life not really understanding that CPR is the most effective way to keep someone alive until EMS has arrived or until you could get them to a medical facility. And so recognizing the signs of when you should call for help or when you should administer CPR is very important. If you're not certified, then you should get certified. And if you ever need help, you can always look to organizations like the American Heart Association or the American Red Cross for the proper training. You could download apps like the American Red Cross app, which has a hospital locator inside, and it also has instructions on what you should do for each given emergency. So please, please, please do your part and download those apps and go get yourself trained and certified in these courses. Each course could cost you under $100, but I mean, what's the price of someone's life? So I would go ahead and invest in yourself. But before we get into it, I'm just going to talk about the differences of each mannequin. I'm going to take my shoes off, and I'm going to move these guys out the way. And, you know, before we get started, let me grab the AED. So in real life, you probably would have to run and go get it. But in this scenario, it's going to be already over here. And shout out to people who like to ground and get their feet nice in the ground. Grounding is also a form of self-care here on the planet, and you will receive nutrients from the earth. Is a different size. What does that mean? Well, each human being has a different size of lung. So for the infant, you would want to use, when you're giving CPR, you would want to use a puff, meaning what can fit in your cheeks. Because if you gave your full lung capacity, you would blow your infant's lung out, which could be dangerous during CPR. Also, when it comes to compression, you don't want to go more than 1.5 inches on an infant. For a child, the lung is a little bit bigger, but still small, still a little bit bigger than the infant. But as you can see, it's still a little bit smaller than a full adult. So, for a child that is 7 years and younger, or 8 years and younger, or under 55 pounds, you want to revert to going about 1.5 inches to about 2 inches deep as far as the depth when giving compressions, and I will show that. And also we have lights on the side that indicate if I'm doing it correctly. 2 green lights will show the proper depth and rate, meaning 100 to 120 beats per minute. Okay, if you see any orange, that means slow down, and if you see red, that's where you're supposed to be breathing. As far as the adult lung, with your adult lung, as you can see, it's a little bit bigger. When giving a breath, you want to give the whole capacity of your lung. Obviously, slow and steady wins the race. And for the depth, you want to go between 2 inches to, but no more than 2.4 inches down. For CPR with an adult or a child that's 8 years old or 55 pounds or more, you can do the interclasping method where the arms stay locked I'll show you the legs in 1 second. So I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna watch me put the lungs in. It's very simple. You would take the infant, pop it off at the top. You would take these lines and you would roll them up this way. So it's about 4 lines on here. I try to roll it maybe 5 times. Now, it's really important, if you notice, the head on this mannequin doesn't go back very far, and it's representative on the practical application of when you're doing CPR for an infant. The head is always neutral. So that's why these heads on the mannequins don't go back that far, because it's trying to remind you of that when you're doing the CPR, do not tilt the child's head back past neutral. The infant's child past neutral. So we're gonna button them back up, and now we're going to cut them on. And as you can see, the diaper lights up. It's flashing red because we're not breathing into him right now, and he has not received any compressions. And I'll also show you how to hook up the AED machine with the infant pads, but also the adult pads. The thing about AED usage is you can use an AED on all groups and ages, but if you use pediatric pads on an adult, it won't work. But you can use adult pads on all age groups. It's just about the placement of where you're putting the pads, okay? So now I'm gonna open the child up, place his lung inside. I'm gonna follow into recognizing an emergency. Now, usually if a person is conscious, then you would need to get consent from a parent. So let's say the infant was conscious, but then their parents are saying, oh my God, my baby needs some help. So they're conscious, but let's say they just went unconscious and they stopped breathing. Okay? So let's say the mom said that there was an emergency, and I said, hi, my name is Cece. I am a CPR instructor. And I'm trained, do I have permission to help you and your child? And she says yes, and she hands me the baby. Then I'm going to go, baby, are you okay? Baby, are you okay? I'm not only tapping the baby's foot, but I'm tilting the baby up so I can hear to see if the baby is breathing, moaning, crying, making any kind of noises to show that they have any form of level of responsiveness. So if the baby is not responsive, we could do one of 2 things. We could put the baby on a flat, hard surface, or you could put the baby on a flat, hard surface on the floor or on the table, okay? Now over there's a bench. But for the sake of today, we're gonna just put them right on the floor. So you could use, anything that's flat and hard. So that bench would be good, the ground would be good, a table would be good, okay? And then specifically with the baby, because they're so little, we usually show it on the table in the classroom, But I'm gonna show you right here today. So you wanna go from the feet. As you can see, his head goes back a little bit more, because with the child, you're always going to go past neutral with a child. These pieces of plastic act as the lung, and that's what's going to be able to catch air, where you're going to be able to see the lung or the chest rising and falling. And that's what you have to pay attention to in real life, is the chest rising and falling. So let's go over some levels of responsiveness. Level of responsiveness is you want to look to see in a medical emergency, is the person breathing? Is the person's chest rising and falling? Are they moaning? Are they gasping or having agonal breaths? Which is not a real breath. It's just like a okay? These signs are definite signs that you need to obviously check to see on that person. But then you have to summon someone to call EMS, or you call EMS yourself by using your cell phone. And then obviously administer care if you're certified in order to do so. Now listen, if you learn this technique today, I'm not gonna say don't save someone's life and use it, but I will say that, you know, this course comes along with an 8-hour, you know, some courses are 5 hours, 4 hours, some courses are 8 hours. So I would just say, don't just use deductive reasoning and say, okay, I've got this and that's just all there is. Really invest in know so you can really truly understand what you're doing. I'm just really covering this just as a basic form of knowledge. But please enroll into a class so that you can know the ins and outs, what to do as things progress and get worse or better. Okay, so we're going to start with the infant, go into recognizing an emergency. Now, usually if a person is conscious, then you would need to get consent from a parent. So let's say the infant was conscious, but then their parents are saying, oh my God, my baby needs some help. So they're conscious, but let's say they just went unconscious and they stopped breathing. Okay? So let's say the mom said that there was an emergency and I said, hi, my name is Cece. I am a CPR instructor. And I'm trained, do I have permission to help you and your child? And she says yes, and she hands me the baby. Then I'm going to go, baby, are you okay? Baby, are you okay? I'm not only tapping the baby's foot, but I'm tilting the baby up so I can hear to see if the baby is breathing, moaning, crying, making any kind of noises to show that they have any form of level of responsiveness. So if the baby is not responsive, we could do one of two things. We could put the baby on a flat, hard surface, or you could put the baby on a flat, hard surface on the floor or on the table, okay? Now over there, there's a bench. But for the sake of today, we're gonna just put them right on the floor. So you could use, you know, anything that's flat and hard. So that bench would be good, the ground would be good, a table would be good, okay? And then specifically with the baby, because they're so little, you know, we usually show it on the table in the classroom, you know. But I'm gonna show you right here today. So you wanna go from the feet. I'm gonna take my shoes off and I'm gonna move these guys out the way. And you know, before we get started, let me grab the AED. So in real life, you probably would have to run and go get it. But in this scenario, it's gonna be already over here. And shout out to people who like to ground and get their feet nice in the ground. Grounding is also a form of self-care here on the planet, and you will receive nutrients from the earth from that. Both sets of pads, these are the pediatric pads, but as I said earlier, you could use adult pads on a child. It's just about the placement, because the pads are not allowed to touch each other, because that could cause some serious malfunctions with the machine, the auto electrode defibrillator machine, which is the AED machine. Okay. Now you could perform CPR without an AED machine. A lot of places don't have AED machines even to this day, but a lot of places do, and that's going to give you a more fighting chance in order to survive. Both sets of pads, these are the pediatric pads, but as I said earlier, You could use adult pads on a child. It's just about the placement, because the pads are not allowed to touch each other, because that could cause some serious malfunctions with the machine, the auto electrode defibrillator machine, which is the AED machine. Okay. Now, you could perform CPR without an AED machine. A lot of places don't have AED machines even to this day, but a lot of places do, and that's going to give you a more fighting chance in order to survive. Or the baby, if consent is implied, okay? If you find any human being that may be unconscious and not breathing, consent is implied due to the Good Samaritan law. And that's why I was saying, if you're certified, that Good Samaritan law will protect you. You know, I know that for a fact. Now, if you're not certified, you might have to look into the law for yourself, okay? But I'm certified, and the people who we teach who get certified, we teach them about the Good Samaritan law and how they are covered. So I was given consent. Oh, I gotta get a mask too for the baby. I was given consent, and I'm checking for the levels of responsiveness. Baby, are you okay? Baby, are you okay? Now, you want to basically check the level of responsiveness between 5 and 10 seconds, but no more than 10 seconds. Every second matters, especially when it comes to a person who's not breathing. So we're going to use the encircling thumbs method. This works really good for women who have acrylics, so you don't have to worry about the old method where you would use 2 fingers and go to the side. You would use your thumb. So you're going to come from the child's. So I'm going to show you AED placement for the adult pads. So as you can see, the picture is showing on a larger adult where it should go, which is the top right chest and the lower left. But for a baby, you want to make sure that they're not touching. So again, you go right here on the front, flip them up, and then you want to go right here on the back. I'm gonna sanitize this later, trust me. See that? So you can use this adult pad on the front and on the back. And you would run the same play.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug in pads connector next to flashing. Analyzing heart rhythm.
Clear. Same thing.
Do not touch the patient.
Clear.
Shock advised.
Clear again.
Charging.
Clear.
Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now.
Clear.
Press the orange
Delivering
button
shock.
now. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now let's say you had a big person's mask and you didn't have a pediatric mask available. You could take this mask and flip it upside down, and you could use this mask to breathe into them. Did y'all see that? Chest rise a little bit. You'll really see it in the adult and in the child, I'm assuming. But yeah, that's how you would do this if you had a larger mass. Same thing, go through your 5 cycles of CPR with 2 breaths. Don't give no more than 2 breaths, okay? Let's go into the next population. Or how to check a a larger child and an adult. I swear this outside got me want to go to sleep. It feels so good.
It feels so good.
So, okay, so this how this gonna go. I'm done with a little Antonia, okay? So now let's deal with Miss Antoinette, okay? Right. Hey Antoinette girl, you got ants crawling all over you, boo. That's okay. All right. So for a child that is 7 years old to adulthood, that's not an infant. So any child that's like not an infant, you could do this tap, shout, tap sequence to check if they're okay. So for example, like I said, if they're a young child and the parent's not around, but you find them unconscious, then of course consent is implied. Antoinette, are you okay? Antoinette, are you okay? Why am I doing this? I'm tapping Antoinette's shoulders because it's gonna jolt her if she is conscious enough to moan, say something. I'm coming down here because I'm trying to feel, is Antoinette breathing along my cheek while I'm down here? Can I see if her chest is rising and falling? Okay? And that's what I'm checking for, levels of responsiveness. If Antoinette's chest is not rising and falling and I don't hear any breaths and I don't feel any on my cheek, then 9 times out of 10, Antoinette is unresponsive and needs some medical care. So in any medical event, then I would say, hey, AD, Antoinette is not breathing. She has no responsiveness. Call 911 and get an AED and a first aid kit. These things are essential because this is going to allow me to bring this person back to life more effectively. Let's say, for example, A don't know how to do CPR. Then the best thing that she could do is call and find an AED machine and a first aid kit and bring it back to me. 9 times out of 10, though, if an AED isn't available, but she don't know that, she might be gone for 5 minutes or so. So it's my job to make sure that I get specific. Let's say it's another bystander in the park. I could say, hey, you in the gray shirt, I need you to call 911. Hey, I need you to go find, her name is A. So I'm not saying A like A as a person who I don't know, but her nickname is A right here. So by me saying A, go get AD in a red shirt, go get the first aid kit and an AED, I'm being very specific in saying what I want from her. 9 times out of 10, she should be saying, okay, I'm calling 911, or okay, I'm going to get the AED and the first aid kit. So it's really important to make sure that you are repeating what that person's telling you, because in an event where a person's life is on the line, you have to tell your brain what to do. And sometimes you might forget what to do, even though it's so simple. But by you saying it over again, it's not only telling that person that they were heard, or that you heard them, or that they heard you, but it's also telling your own brain on what to do. So with a child that is 8 years old and younger, less than 55 pounds, so 7 years old, less than 55 pounds, you would want to do the one-hand compression technique. So the key about this is to have your legs to shoulder width, your knee. Now, some people like to put their feet up, so if you come back here, you can see my feet up. I don't like that position. With me having the back problems that I have going on with the car accident, I like to point my toes in the back. To me, it takes stress off the feet, off the back. So you see how I have the feet down? Instead of up, have your feet down. Okay. So now I'm gonna go into the 30 compressions for this young man, or excuse me, this young lady. And so I want to have one hand over. I want to use the heel of my hand to be in the center of the chest. And I want to go down about 1.5 to 2 inches deep. And in this corner, you're gonna see the lights light up. If it's 2 green lights, that means it's the proper depth and the proper rate, meaning 100 to 120 beats per minute. If it's red, that means it's my time to breathe into them. For this particular person, we're gonna use this mask, and this mask is gonna give you the most oxygenation rates that you can. It's the most professional mask you can use. You can order these right off of Amazon. I'll end up having an affiliate link that you can get to later. But these you can get. It comes with an adult and a child mask like this, along with a mouthpiece that's not disposable, because this one's disposable. It will come with 2 of these like this in a pouch for about $10 to $15, okay? And it's worth it, because this is gonna give you the highest form of oxygen to go straight into the body. Now, this mask is a face shield mask. The face shield mask it's effective, but as you can see, it has openings on the side and it's not hard plastic, so some of the air can escape. You want to use the side that says top. And you want to put it directly over that person. You want to always squeeze the nose for a person that is not an infant, so that the air doesn't escape. And as you can see, you see how the head slightly tilts back? So for this guy, you want to be here. So when it's time to breathe, this is holding onto the side, and as you can see, my arm or any of my hands are not pressing against his neck, and it's not laying on his chest, okay? So let's go ahead and let's go through the compressions. And under 55 pounds, we can use this. But if he was 55 pounds or more, we'll use this. So because let's just assume he's more than 55 pounds, because I would rather for y'all to use these for he could get the proper amount of voltage than this, and it might not be enough, okay? So let's use this. And I'll show you both ways on how we can put it on a 7-year-old versus an 8-year-old. A person that's over 55 pounds versus a person who's not 55 pounds. So I'm gonna show you both. So let's go into the tap, shout, tap sequence. He was found unconscious in the park, and I don't know where his parents are. Nobody was to be found. So now we have to use our training in order to help him or her. Antoinette, are you okay? Antoinette. Oh my goodness. Antoinette is not responding. Young lady in the red shirt, I need you to call 911. Sir in the gray shirt, I need you to get an AED and a first aid kit. They've just told me that that's what they're going to go do, and they went off to go do it. So now I have to help save the person's life. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't see my lights. Let me see. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 9 and 10. I see them. They're very faint over here. Can you see them? Try to come over here to the shoulders so they can see. We'll start off. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Slightly tilt here. Make sure that you seal the mask here and use your hitchhiker hand, but turn it sideways. See the chest? See how it rolls and fall? That's what you want to do. Now continue. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So you always want to look down, making sure that you can see if the chest is rising and falling. Let's say, for example, the air does not go in that might indicate that they have an obstructed airway. And so if they do have an obstructed airway, meaning let's say they were choking and went unconscious before we found them in the park, okay, then you would want to look, you would want to get a compressions and look first to see if you see anything. And if you were to find an object, let's say there was a marble in here, then you would want to perform a mouth sweep from one corner to the next to pop it out. So one corner of the lip to the other corner of the lip, but only if you see something. So basically, the difference between the obstructed airway CPR and the regular CPR is if you already had knowledge that they were choking and they went unconscious, then you would use the obstructed airway version, meaning you would look prior to you blowing. If you don't know whether if it's obstructed or not, just follow the regular course of CPR, and that way it'll either be revealed to you through the compression, or they will end up coming back to life on their own. Now, how to set up the AED button, and hold it.
Apply pads to patient's bare
So
chest.
for a child
Plug in
that is
pad
7,
connector next to
we would go
flashing
here.
light.
You drop something else too.
Same thing.
And you would
Apply
flip him
pads,
to the side
plug-in connector.
and go here, right in the center of the back, and lay the person back down. This is for the child that might be
Analyzing
7 and
heart
under.
rhythm.
Clear.
Do not touch the patient.
Clear.
Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient.
Clear.
Deliver shock now.
Shock
Press the
being
orange
delivered.
button
Clear.
now.
So you see how it's flashing? Now we want to click it.
Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. If I was to use this, it would look like this. See that chest rising? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Did y'all see that? Perfect. So now I'm going to show you for a child. So for a child that is 8 years old and over 55 pounds, you would use this method when it came to applying the AED. So you would go top right, make sure that for a person that's, that you're doing this for 8 years old and 55 pounds or more, make sure there's no jewelry, that you're not putting this over any jewelry. If they got a necklace hanging down, then push the necklace towards the back. Make sure that the pad is not on top of the jewelry. If they got a pacemaker, then flip, you could go opposite side, but don't put it directly on top of the pacemaker, okay? Ooh, it's about to rain. So you want to always put it underneath the armpit on the left side here, sideways, just like that. Okay? So, same tap, shout, tap sequence. The only difference now is the CPR starts this way. Johnny, are you okay? Johnny, are you okay? Johnny appears to be unresponsive. Young lady in the red shirt, young man in the gray pants. I need you to call 911, get an AED. and a first aid kit. They would have agreed. But we're fast forwarding it now. Let's say that I already had access to the AED machine. Then, obviously I would go into my compression without this being here. So I'm gonna take this off so we can have a realistic way. We want to interlace our fingers and use the heel of our hand in order to make this happen. It doesn't matter which one is your power hand. All that matters is that I'm gonna use this hand. All that matters is that you have the legs shoulder width apart and you're using your body weight to compress against the body. Ooh, my hand just cracking that girl. Dang. Okay. This actually hurts, actually. Dang. I haven't done this since that fight. I gotta teach 2 classes too. Am I fucking?
Okay.
Squoze. I think it's because I be squeezing it tight. Okay, you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 9 and 10 and 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. With an adult, you want to tilt the head all the way back. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Retilt. Y'all see the lungs fully rise and fall? Great. Now let's say that our AED machine has arrived. For the adult or for the child that's 8 and more than 55 pounds, upper right, lower left. Obviously, we will cut on the AED machine. It's going to tell us
apply
to
pads to patient's
place
bare
pads
chest.
or apply pads to the bare
Plug-in
chest.
pad connector next to flashing light. Analyzing heart rhythm.
Clear.
Do not touch the patient. Shock advised.
Clear.
Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the
Clear.
orange button now.
Delivering shock.
Shock delivered.
Then you want to go into your CPR.
Begin CPR.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay? And then you would give in your 2 breaths. All right? So, even though I use the child and the infant, the adult will work the same way as I showed the child that was over 8 years old and 55 pounds. The only difference is the amount of tilt that you're gonna receive. So I'll show that tilt and then we're gonna pack up because I don't want it to rain on the equipment, okay? And I gotta teach 2 classes tomorrow. So I'm just gonna shimmy little Jody over here, baby boy. So again, their tap, shout, tap sequence. If you find him unconscious in the park or maybe by the pool or something like that. Now, if they're getting pulled out of water though, you want to get on 2 rescue ventilations prior to the compressions because you have to clean out the lung, especially when it's full of water. But let's say for the sake of this example, this was a land example and he wasn't being pulled out the water. Jody! 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 Can you hear me? Jody? All right, we just did that for 5 to 10 seconds, okay? Jody is not breathing. He's unresponsive. So I'm going to say, hey, young lady in the green shirt, I need you to call 911. Jody appears to be unresponsive. hey, baby boy in the blue jeans, I need you to call 911 and get an AED. Now, yes, I'm referencing the movie Baby Boy, and I'm using a little satire, but you guys understand. So now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the compressions. Again, it's going to be similar to the one we were doing for the child who is over 8 years old and 55 pounds. We're going to go right into the center of the chest with the heel of the hand, and we're going to keep both of our arms long and straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see the green lights more. 11, 12, because you got brown skin. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I was to take this. I want to close his nose. Always pinch his nose when you're using this mask. Put the hand here. Tighten it in away from the body. 1. I don't think it went in. I'm going to retilt. 2.
I saw that.
Went in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You would breathe again. Whether if you use this mask, it would be looking like this. Hand goes over the seal, hitchhiker finger to the side, blow. 1, 2. You always want to make sure that you're tilting so that that neckline can be unobstructed, okay? And so that the air gets in. Look what happens when I don't tilt. The air go in? No. So you have to tilt. Even if you have your hands over their eyes, it's okay. They're either dead or unconscious anyway. So go ahead and give it a go. See? All right. And with the AED, same thing as we showed with the 8-year-old here. Underneath that armpit, off to the side here. Okay? Always make sure that you cut on the machine first. The machine is always going to give you the instructions on what to do no matter what model of
Apply
AED
pads
that you
to
have.
patient's bare chest.
We apply them to
Plug
the bare
in
chest.
pads connector next to flashing light.
We're plugging in our pads connector.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
Clear!
Do not touch the patient.
Now, it's been a lot of fast forwarding, right? Because you
Shock
didn't see the
advised.
individuals give me the AED machine, but in real life,
Charge
somebody should have gotten it to me.
Stay clear of patient.
Clear!
Deliver shock now. Press
Shock
the orange
delivered.
button
Clear.
now.
Shock being delivered.
Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So if you saw my lights have flicker orange, that means I'm going fast. 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay? So for each group, remember 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Always remember, if the AED comes along, it has precedence over the human being. And so therefore you want to administer this as soon as you get your hands on it. And remember, don't forget to, when you recognize an emergency, have someone call 911, or you get your phone out your pocket and call 911 yourself. Because even if you still have to administer CPR, the paramedics or dispatcher on the phone will walk you through it. And don't forget, sign up for classes through the American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, and download that American Red mobile app, okay? The First Aid mobile app will definitely get you together, like I said, with the locator for hospitals or just basic principles on how to take care of an emergency. I would go ahead and show you how to do wound care as far as applying direct pressure, but it looks like we're out of time today because of the rain. But until next time, we'll have another episode. And don't forget, Live well, be well, and may the universe adhere to all your desires.